If you're watching this for the very first time, you're one of the very few people watching my videos. Main reason I started this entire channel based on crypto, and over time my views changed, so most of the audience kind of dropped out. I barely get any kind of engagements whatsoever, even if I try to give, do free giveaways and whatnot. But at the same time, what do you believe anymore? I always said, don't trust anybody, verify. But everything I've done so far, given literally not from the bottom of my heart, but did all my due diligence, researched enough. And if you go and see how things have played so far, I was pretty much right on quite a bunch of things. I always put money where my mouth is. If I said I was buying into some of the stock, I'm actually doing it. Most people don't. They just give you whatever stuff and they just move on. Again, whether you believe it now or not, it's all on you. Time is the ultimate truth. And inherently, I don't want any gold, silver, or any of the stuff to go down, but who cares about my emotions? I'm not an insider. On top of that, I'm not a politician, because they're the one who control the pricing and the narrative most of the time. You've seen it over and over again. What are the chances? And like I said, I do weekly deep dives once a week, more or less, weekend. And I'll try to give you everything that I came across the entire week without any fillers. I do my best. Yeah, I just got a little carried up in the beginning. Probably lost most of you. But again, if you're watching this, have an open mind. I'm here to win, not just keep losing. And sometimes the old boring money is the way to go. While everybody was picking semis, which I've seen, and I've mentioned several times why semis could drop 20-30%. Even my last video, watch it. I talked about 3 picks as well. Stock picks. We're gonna do that once in a while, about the picks I'm buying and whatnot. And before coming to gold, silver, whatnot, I did a video talking about Veritone. And let me show you this real quick. Oh my God. Look at this here. All right. I had to cut loss on this stock. And I have to mention this, whoever's watching this, because not many people talk about it. They only talk about the winners. The moment they lose and all that, they just move on, right? I'm telling you this. I've covered this stock quite a few times because I thought this would be like SoundHound, kinda AI agentic. This guys came out and gave fake revenue numbers and whatnot, alleged. You can see there's a lawsuit, class action lawsuit going on right now. Veritone shareholders, back share increase, CEO awards as dead, question looms. Fake narratives, fake data. And if you act on fake data as an investor, what happens? Yeah, I had to cut loss, a couple of $1,000s. I could have held on to it because again, the emotion kicks in, right? No, this will go up someday sooner. I sold at 160, 170 cents. Right now it's sitting at $1.10. This is the lowest of lowest I've seen in a while. And not too long ago, it literally hit $9.31. Look at the date here, October 25 last year, because of whatever the data they fed us. All the investors piled in. Looking at it, the bottom, they're like, dude, this has quite a bunch of run left. And all semis, all the AI kind of mooned. This barely even did anything. Because again, if you act on fake data, how far they can go with it, right? So there's a class action lawsuit. If you have invested in this, thank God I didn't push this as hard. But I was looking at it, and I mentioned a few times, I was like, man, this looks like a winner if it actually hits. But if it's fake, man. I have to cut loss. And that's where it is. A lot of people will hold on to their bags, hoping they'll find somebody to take it from them. But if that time never comes, again, time is the ultimate truth, and also time is very important, right? The market teaches a lot of things. Anyways, keeping that aside, yeah, this was one of my losers, and I'm pretty disappointed that I have to lose some money on this. So again, why did I stop talking about crypto? Because, dude, there's nothing new in crypto. One day is going to pump for some reason, the next day it jumps. You have useless token, you have Fartcoin, Bitcoin just went up to like 64, 66,000. Everybody got bullish again. And right now it's dropping like a rock, sitting at 61,000. Why? The war, it never ended. Also kind of so-called predicted. When I said it's going to go on for months, not even weeks. When they said it would end in 3 weeks or 4 weeks, I said, dude, don't take anybody's word for it. It doesn't, the action speaks louder than words. If your action is dictating, anti-ceasefire, this and this, again, it's the biggest thing. The geopolitical tension plays in every field, from fuel price, rate hike, and we have rate hikes, Fed uncertainties. It's massive, right, at this very moment. Not too long ago, July 4th, the price of oil was going down just for a day or two, and then it's catching up again. Let's see, WTI, crude oil, at this very moment. And if you're still watching this, just hang on. I'll try to cut this short. Look at this here. Crude oil went all the way to 69 something, and now it's at $77. So oil is going up. And this is some of your semiconductors. Just watch this. SK Hynix came out. I talked about buying 3 stock. Now, Netflix and Uber. I'll probably do another dedicated episode just talking about the picks, and I will break them and analyze them to using data and whatnot. Core, one of my other holdings here. Just look what's happened. All-time high was $440. I got this about $320 or so, just a couple, just so I can have something, a little skin in the game, semi industry. This is the only one. and I'm looking at TSM and quite a few others. I'm looking for a bargain. Once I get a bargain, that's when I'm going to buy some of these decent company. But if you really pay attention, remember I talked about the defensive stock, the Humana, United Healthcare, Molina. This is the trajectory of those picks. I wish I could have bought in myself, but yeah, this sometimes it happens. Over optimism in all of the other industry like semis that you just you don't even see these things. Anyway, keeping all that aside, Snow again went up. I was literally looking at it, but I didn't expect it to go significantly surge. But looking at, let me see if we get a break on this. Reddit is okay, decent, but however, Amazon, Apple. So Apple went up again earlier today, close to all-time high. You know why? Now all the investors in semis, they are kind of tired of all the risk and volatility, so they decided to rotate their money into all the stable ones now, Amazon and all the Apple, Google, and that's what's happening. But if you go back all the way down, look at this here. Dude, this is scary. This is Cyrus Semiconductors. Like, this was really pumped up. People were talking about this, some of the gurus. This is AXT. Tell me, when I said 25% down, this is not even 25%. It's way below 25%. This AXT was at $142, now sitting at $48. Literally, it's going back to its all-time kind of high back in 2000. SanDisk, you see that? Again, SanDisk pumped significantly from 1400 to it went up again. It goes up. It's a momentum stock. If you can catch the momentum on these, buy low and sell high, you're making some money. Look at this here, Applied Optoelectronics. Man, some of them are holding to some level, but if these are the trajectory, the chart looks so messy, right? Like some of them, it's brutality. So anyway, keeping that aside, and where's Micron? Micron is one of the key industry, the key factor. You have this Western Digital Corporation, another one, all the chips. And this is something to pay attention to. SK Hynix. They just did their debut last Friday. Got listed on NASDAQ. And immediately, just like SpaceX, Cerebras, and SpaceX is not doing decent either. SpaceX is pretty much close to all-time low right now. And this is Micron. Again, won't be surprised if tomorrow they call a ceasefire and again things start pumping. See, this is the world and this is the market we are playing with and betting against. It's just impossible. And you've seen what happened to Senator Lindsey Graham. He just won. I don't like to get political and all that stuff, but just a crazy level of the universal law. He won these South Carolina, I think. North Carolina or South Carolina. He won he won recently. And now, last Saturday, he passed away. There were a lot of people, he hate him and all that stuff. They're like, oh my God, how did he win? Out of all these people, they had to pick this senator, Lindsey Graham, a little controversial politician. And then he passed away. I just see the news. I was like, hold on, what just happened? Some heart issues and whatnot, just like this. He was giving speech and all that stuff. He never showed any sign of mortality or whatever the sickness, but then just disappears. So that tells you how the world works, man. It's insane. There's a lot of things you can learn from it. Anyway, keeping that aside, this is some of the so-called trajectory. This is Cerebras. Going up, going down, momentum stock. And even gold and silver. Hate to see this, but I did a video on my other channel, Shorts, and I literally said, they're in the bearish zone. Now, every time they go back up in green, well, we are back in bullish zone. I don't see that. If it cannot cross 4,000 and stay stable for a while, and it's a good thing to some level if you understand what's happening. People who bought into gold and silver, pushed the price up, they were just chasing momentum. They didn't want to get in because of precious metal or hedging, and they don't understand. They didn't care. They just wanted to buy in. Retail wanted to buy in because everyone's doing it. But look what central bank is doing. The moment central bank, and even Japan and China is loading up. Something is coming with the currency. Maybe we can discuss that some other time. I mean, this channel should be, I should turn this channel to like what? The gold and silver and precious metal channel, since I can't do crypto as much anymore. So I guess that's my new audience. So if you're into precious metal stock, but precious metals and all that stuff, the downside of precious metal, you will not see many billionaires discuss, is because when you're holding on to physicals, you're not getting any yield. It goes up in price and goes down in price, but that only matters when you're selling it. If you're just holding on it, there's no yield. Make sense? So it's kind of less attractive to most retail investors and Gen Zs and young investors, which makes sense. And on top of that, I had to trim a lot of my picks here. I had quite a bunch more miners, and I had to trim because I do see a lot of downside coming. There will be upside sooner or later, and the next upside is going to be very decent. Not my word. It's a data and quite a bunch of people word on the street. But you have to see some down because of the tension plus volatility. A lot of weak hands is going to happen. So if you're into silver, gold, check on it. Maybe buy the dip. But if you plan on holding long enough, or just be patient. Patience is the name of the game right now. Now I'm gonna cut this chase and let's read this real quick. How about that? Look at this here. So breaking news headlines. The tech sector is experiencing a mixed sentiment. Investors are rotating from pure play AI stocks to Apple as a safe haven. You see that? Apple is more safer than gold and silver right now because it's generating yield, right? Anyway, AI stocks to Apple as a safe haven, while memory chip stocks face sharp corrections and the smartphone market continues to contract due to supply shortages. Broader concerns about AI's labor impact and intellectual property theft are weighing on confidence, but major infrastructure investments by Meta and Intel indicate long-term optimism in compute and semiconductor demand. Exactly. See how the narrative changed so quick. The flight to equality into Apple combined with Xi Jinping's anticipated AI policy speech suggests major capital and regulatory shifts favoring established tech leaders and state-backed AI initiatives. Positioning in hardware-focused tech with strong balance sheets offers a near-term hedge against AI volatility. I'm not too sure if Micron is one of them, but if there's a strong company, fair enough. Unauthorized AI distillation costing US labs up to $6 billion annually poses a systematic threat to proprietary AI development, potentially draining resources and eroding competitive advantages. Additionally, the rapid AI-driven job displacement highlighted by 200 economists could trigger disruptive regulatory backlashes. There you go. One side is bullish, the other side is extremely bearish. Consumer is tapped out and all these, then the price is going up. Demand going up, they don't have enough supply because of, again, all the bottlenecks and the war and stuff that's happening. Monitor Apple's rotation as a defensive play while closely tracking the outcomes of Xi's World AI Conference speech for China policy signals. Diversify exposure in semiconductors by favoring Intel's European expansions of volatile Korean memory stocks, and prepare for potential AI regulation by assessing intellectual property protections. Now that's massive. Global smartphone shipments hit lowest due to chip shortage. Basically, your next iPhone and next Samsung Android is going to be more expensive, without a doubt. Global smartphone shipments fell 11% over year in Q2 26, the lowest second quarter volumes since 2013, driven by the ongoing DRAM and NAND shortage. Samsung has returned to the top spot with a 24% market share. Apple stock surged 16% as investors flee AI sell-off. You see this here? So they can't take this volatility and all this risk anymore. They're like, bet on the big players now. They're the safe havens. That's what's happening. Apple stock has risen 16% since June 25, adding approximately $650 billion in market value as investors rotate out of broader AI stock sell-off into the company. US estimates unauthorized AI distillation cost labs up to $6 billion annually. This highlights growing tensions around intellectual property and competitive espionage in AI. The financial and strategic stakes are immense, potentially driving new regulation, trade controls. See this here? Regulations, controls, litigation, legal issues. They are not good for the price of the stock. The US government estimates that unauthorized distillation of AI models cost American AI labs up to $6 billion per year. Intel to invest €5 billion in Ireland chip plant after canceling Germany factory. Okay. Nearly 200 economists warn of rapid AI-led job displacement. 200 economists. Okay. Meta commits extra $40 billion to Louisiana data center campus. Meta's massive data center investment underscores the relentless infrastructure build-out for AI and cloud computing. It signals long-term demand for compute power and could pressure competitors to match scale. Fair point. SK Hynix shares crashed 15% after strong Nasdaq debut. Same thing with SpaceX, same thing with Cerebras. Most of the stuff I've seen, I mean, it's kind of crazy though. If you noticed, check this out, right? Figma, they came out with their IPO not too long ago. This is so far, Figma, right? Then you have SpaceX. This is SpaceX. It's sitting at $137 right now. This is a chart. Then you have Circle, right? This is Circle. Not making it up. And then you have Cerebras, of course, more recent ones. Cerebras, if I'm spelling it right, there you go. Cerebras Systems, sitting at 206.5. And then you have SK Hynix right here, sitting at $158. It didn't significantly go down yet. Again, pay attention. Just happened Friday. SpaceX, couple of weeks old, month old. You gotta give more time. But again, this is just to show you the trajectory of most IPOs right now, that they are so desperate, just trying to get the money and liquidity as quick as possible from all angles. Apple as a safe haven amid tech rotation. Intel's Leixlip expansion despite German cancellation highlight Ireland's semiconductor role. Xi's upcoming speech at World AI Conference signals policy direction. See, these are the emerging signals we should pay attention to because they will move the market to some level. And last but not the least, just a bit of semiconductor news here. The semiconductor market displays mixed sentiment influenced by strong earnings from key players and concerns about economic uncertainty. So you have the earnings, don't forget, you have the earnings, profitability, awesome. But then pay attention to the capex, the expenses. If they outweigh the or outpace the earning, that's not good. And on top of that, you have geopolitical tensions. So all of these play a crucial part in this game. Demand for silicon wafers is creating an opportunity for manufacturers to innovate and improve production efficiency. Supply chain. So that's, if you can find companies that are focused on the supply chain of this manufacturing thing, that's the bottleneck there. Those companies you should pay attention to. Probably companies should focus on cost management and seek innovative solutions to navigate supply chain challenges. Taiwan Semiconductor posts stronger than expected June sales. TSM, another stock on my list. Bosch begins sample production at its first semiconductor plant. Wow, Bosch has a US semiconductor plant. This is a significant move in the push for local semiconductor manufacturing, and it reinforces Bosch's dedication to supporting the growing demand for automotive and other technology segments in North America. Why TSM's record revenue isn't reviving the AI trade? The discrepancy between TSMC's performance and the broader AI market suggests that investor sentiment may be cautious, indicating that the relationship between semiconductor performance and AI stock valuations is complex in the current climate. That's exactly how it's working out. And we talked about Intel plans. Global semiconductor stocks slide amid economic concerns. And then we have emerging signal. Silicon wafer capacity is tightening in 2026. Here's what hardware engineers need to know. Hardware engineers and manufacturers need to adapt to the evolving landscape, as increased pressure on wafer supply may lead to longer lead times and heightened competition for materials. So, by the way, this was 11 days back. Assuming that you're betting on a company like Sivers Semiconductor or Micron and whatnot, but if they have the supply chain issue, they can't ship their product from this side to this side because they're missing some item which comes from another company. Makes sense? Some part which comes from another company. That's number one. All right. Whether it's a Strait of Hormuz blockage and whatnot. I mean, just look how everything plays into this. So that's important. Timing. Yeah, you can time the market, but if you need ABC to make D, and AB is missing out of D, that has to all fall in place for this to work. So that's where the whole thing is, man, the bottlenecks. Anyways, I'll try to give you another detailed view sometimes in the upcoming days. But as of now, all I can tell you, if you're investing, it's a momentum play. Most of them. Things can change real quick. But gold and silver, the reason I show you the price is because they tell you the overall sentiment. And if central banks are buying, they're not loading up on semi stocks and whatnot, right? And on top of that, you'll see a lot of companies are doing IPOs. So because they're so desperate for the piece of US market, they're more desperate for the liquidity, because other places, they don't have that liquidity. They're drying up. So everyone's just trying to get a piece of this pie. And guess who's involved in US market? Retails. So I really hope retail, all of you watching this, be very cautious. Cash is the king at this very moment. Cash is king. Warren Buffett, he just keeps piling up. Although he's not aggressively, I believe he stepped down, but whatever, he still has his points of views for the company he runs, right? Berkshire. So if he's still piling, the dude has close to $500 billion cash. $500 billion, 400 some billion dollars, but almost $500 billion. That's insane, man. Something to pay attention to. Anyway, let me know what you think. And these are the stock I have on buy the dip list. You have Now, Netflix, you have CEG. They're not moving as much. Kind of, some of them are like boring stock, as I call them, but stable. They're more or less stable and boring. When they move, they'll move. Other than that, look at this. Equity, Uber, Coca-Cola. I can't believe I have Coca-Cola right here on the list. Again, it's not like I am a huge fan of some of the companies. It's just, if the data makes sense, and if they are profitable and all that stuff, I can do nothing about it, man. I'm just following the data and the system, basically. Anyways, thanks for watching. If you like what you see, please subscribe. And that's all I have for you. Bye for now.